Welcome back. We have Bob Ketchum with us, and he just recently finished a lifelong work. I mean, this is what a lot of people aspire to, is to write.
Well, everybody's got one good book in them. This was an easy one for me to write because I knew about the subject material pretty well.
This is a novel, right?
Yeah, it's fictional.
Yeah, it's
totally fictional.
No, it's
the names have been changed to protect the innocent,
correct.
right?
Now,
okay.
This book is written about your experiences.
It's
your
my
life,
memoirs.
Your memoirs, okay.
Called Face the Music by Bob Ketchum.
And if don't be surprised when you look at the cover, because it looks like a music CD.
It does
we know
look like
we
a music
associate
CD.
you with music.
Music, well, as you should.
And the cover. Let's show Gil's waiting to
Is
do
he
the
waiting
cover.
to
Let's
get
see
real
what it
close
looks like
this time?
there.
Extreme close-up.
Extreme close-up. And you also mentioned that there are 75 songs on this CD?
Yeah, there are 75 MP3 files on there, 500 images, 55 chapters, over 800 pages. There it is. The book is actually in Adobe Reader format. So if you have a computer that can read Adobe files,
Okay.
Which is a free download off the internet, and I imagine most of the the iBooks and those iPads, most of those will also read Adobe files.
So you can just launch those.
You should just pull it in there.
And what was the catalyst for putting this together?
Well, it's an interesting story, actually. In my younger years, when basically I was working on my career in Fort Smith, I would come up on weekends and visit Mom, spend the weekend here, and tell her my latest escapades or some gig that I did, or I was promoting concerts at the time, and she would be in stitches, and she always used to say, "Bob, you really need to write a book."
Yeah.
She said that for years. And it just kind of, passed over my head for a long time. And
because living your own life, it doesn't seem all that.
No, it really doesn't. That's true. That's true. You don't think your life is that outstanding until you get later on in years and look back and you realize everyone's life is outstanding in some way. It's the first step is sitting down at the keyboard and it all begins. That's where it starts. And once you start doing that, it just started going and going and going. And another interesting thing for me was in about 1970, I was starting to promote rock concerts in Fort Smith. This was way before they had calculators. So I was dealing with these high-pressure booking agencies in New York City, like William Morris Agency, to get bands to come in, and they were snapping off figures, over the phone long distance, and I was just totally, inundated with information, and so I needed some source of or a way to archive the information that I was doing. You know those month at a glance books that has the little boxes and you write in your dates? Well, I bought one in 1972. And it worked so well for me that in 1973, I bought another one. I have every year from 1972 to 2011, I guess, of my month at a glance book. So once I got to 1972, all I had to do was consult my book, and I had all my notes and even little personal
stuff
anecdotes, things there's no way I would have rememred it. No way.
Not unless you'd had
so
shock
this,
therapy.
Right. Which is not a bad idea, but that's another story.
I've got a room in the back with a couple wires.
Right, 220. But I found that after I'd get just a little glimpse of some little thing that I'd written, I could expound on it, on that. So the book just kept growing and growing and growing. And I started shopping around. It took me 2 years to initially write it, and then another year to proof it. And during that year, I started trying to send out feelers and maybe a chapter bite or something I was looking for a literary agent. Well, no one wanted to touch it because it was a tome. There were way too many pages in it. Publishers didn't want to touch it because publishing a book with no pictures in it that's 800 pages is still a pretty expensive, And as a memoir, unless you grew up with me or knew me or came into contact with me, I'm still retain a great deal of anonymity on the national scene. So it wasn't a good business venture from their standpoint. However, in the year it took me to proof the book, the ebook phenomenon started taking off. And I started looking at it and researching it, called some friends of mine at ASU and said, what's the format to get? And everybody said, don't worry about the format. The document is what's important. So I had been using Microsoft Word to write the book. Well, I found a way to transpose it into an Adobe PDF file. Once I did that, I realized, say, I could put pictures in here. And once I started inserting, and not just a 4-page picture section like you'd normally get. This was, if you read about the Vipers and their outlandish outfits in the 60s, we were way ahead of KISS. There was a picture, there is a picture in the book to accompany it. And you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words in itself. So that enhanced the book a great deal.
Now, what about your music? Does the song go along with the chapter somehow?
I've named the songs, for instance, in chapter 2, where I talk about my mom and her background in the entertainment business. And the fact that she would sit at the piano and play piano for our guests at Blackberry Hill Lodge. You can go to that folder and it'll say chapter 2 and Ketchum plays piano. So you could actually click on that and Windows Media Player would open up and play the file while you're reading the book. So I didn't have a practical way of inserting it into the body of the book without messing up the formatting for anyone else that didn't, let's say, have, you know, the ability to play a music file.
So this is available where?
It's available at Hastings here in town. It's available online at cedarcreststudio.com. There's that picture, and it says buy the book online. You click on the link, and I have a PayPal account set up. So if you have a PayPal account, you can just purchase it online. Or you can call me at the studio and hand deliver it, and I personally autograph each one.
Good.
And just as a matter of point of interest, in 4 months, I've sold more ebooks than in 10 years of New Tricks from an Old Dog, my album. So maybe I should have been a writer first and then go back to
You needed to live your life up to this stage. I mean, it all...
Well, I did. I really wrote the book for my son. I wrote the book for Robert because I wanted him to be able to, when he was old enough to know what questions to ask, I probably won't be here. So this way he can go to the book.
Would you not have loved to have a memoir of your great-great-great-grandfather?
I would, yes.
Or any grandfather.
Any family member that has that has a memoir. And people ask me this all the time. I really wanted to write one for, you know, my grandkids or whatever. I said, you know, all you really have to do is sit down and just start. Because once you get started, it's really hard to stop.
Well, we've run way long, and I do appreciate you coming. I really wanted to get you on. I wish we had more time to talk. You are.
I'll come back and I'll wear a tropical shirt.
I want antidotes from the
You want the what?
I want the little stories. Just give us the little tidbits. Just that's what I want you to come back and just give us a little tidbit.
Yeah, well, I'll come back and tell you about getting shot.
Getting shot at a gig. I saw that.
He told me about it.
I saw getting shot at a gig.
Gosh. All right. Bob, thanks a lot. You are a colorful character, and we want you back.
Thank you very much.
We do want you back.
I keep wanting to call you San and Dandy.
San and Dandy.
There you go.
The San and Dandy show.
Thank you for the invite, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Bob. We've had a great time on this show. Thank you for coming
back
to work.
Welcome back to 2012,
she needs a
guys.
fuller-time job. And we want to thank all the guests on the show, and we thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time around.
Yeah, bye.